Yes, I'm Sari Cohen with Awards Buzz. Johnny, it's so good to see you again.
It's so good to see you. Hello.
Hi. Watching you in this role, you are outstanding.
Oh, thank you so much. I
You,
appreciate that.
there's when you're doing a true crime story like this, there's this fine line that you walk between
Oh, yeah.
actual events and this dramatization.
hmm
How did you do it?
Oh man, I was familiar with this case too before I went into it. But for me, it was just all about trying to understand, where a lot of these big headlines come from, and bridging that gap too. For me, what was so exciting to sort of dive into was the quieter moments in this family. And just being able to do that with Patricia Arquette and Jason Clarke and Will Harrison and all of these incredible people who are bringing their A game, it really makes you step up and you want to give it your all. But it's a full deep dive completely.
I love that you said that because I spoke with Will earlier and he was talking about those moments in between the scenes
hmm
that you
Yeah.
guys were actually improvising.
Oh, there was a lot of improv. Yeah. What was so incredible, I mean, the writing is so incredible, right? So that's a base level of just crafting a scene. And then from there, what I love so much about this project was how collaborative it was. And so we got to like fine tune and work on things. And then on set, you have someone like Jason Clarke who just starts talking to you and in the accent and you're talking about things and then you're like, "Oh, I get what we're doing." And suddenly in between takes you're sitting at a dinner table living like a family, talking like a family. And it was the most incredible acting exercise. And yeah, some of those improv lines made it in the show, and it was so exciting to see those because it was just so organic in those moments. It was so cool to do.
Did you have a moment while you were filming that felt like so real and so intense and you felt like you'd really connected with the character?
Um, yeah, there is a scene later on in the show where Paul gets a curveball thrown at him, and he's got to figure out how to fix this moment. It involves a dog, and then he sort of has this really huge emotional release, one in a different way that we have seen from the rest of the story. And so for me, doing that was really important because I think uh, it was sort of about giving him that moment to maybe say what he couldn't have said alone. And again, it was those quieter moments like, who are these people when they're sitting alone in their cars? And for me, it was such a buildup of everything we had filmed and everything Paul had gone through in our story and allowing that complete full release. And you just get so attached to a character that you're playing. And then you have the added layer of, this is inspired by a real person. And giving that moment meant so much to me. I was so grateful to be able to have that moment. But yeah, and then afterwards, your tears and you're just sort of sitting there like so exhausted. What just happened?
Well, and I imagine too, because you said you're familiar with the story. So, like, coming into it, was there a certain judgment that you maybe had of him ahead of time? And did that evolve as you were making this?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think, we watch a movie, right? And we form our opinions about the characters on screen. We do that about people we meet in real life. And then so you have this story involving real people in extraordinary circumstances, and you can't help but form opinions, especially if it's presented to you in a specific way. And it goes back to just trying to bridge that gap. What were these moments in between these big headlines? And so, yeah, I mean, I think Paul for me was an example of just two things can be true at once. A million things can be true at once, right? Like he did this really terrible thing. He did. And at the same time, something really terrible happened to him. And so, how do we get from point A to point B and remember that it's the same person? And that was really important for me to explore.
Yeah. Were you? I don't know, how were you able to maintain like a sense of emotional separation from that?
It was hard, I'll tell you. I mean, you get, again, you get so attached to the thing that you're doing. And I have always been someone who is really good at stepping out. Like I can, go in, step out, and leave it just on the camera. But this one totally, totally challenged that. I think, there were so many days that we were doing something and I recognized the clothes from the case and we're in a recreation of a set, of a real place. And you can't help but be reminded. Um, but thank God it was this cast and crew that really prioritized a sense of levity. And again, talking with Patricia, who talked to me extensively about protecting your mental health, I told myself, okay, step out as much as you can because it can be a really dark headspace to live in. But sometimes you go home and you can't get all out of your mind and you're laying awake in bed. You just have to give yourself some grace. Um, it's important to tell stories like this, and I think this cast and crew really made it a safe space to be able to get out of that as much as possible.
Yeah. I understand too, there's a companion podcast uh
There is.
that's going to be coming out.
There is.
Yeah, what can you tell me about that and being a part of it?
Well, it was kind of surreal and very full circle because, of course, I listened to Mandy Matney's podcast, and it was so incredible. And she's so incredible. She was such a great source of information, too, and a resource when filming the show. And then so to be on a podcast with her asking me questions just felt really surreal because talking with her is different in the sense that she is so connected to the story. She has connections with these people. She was on the ground covering it. And so talking to her, I'll never forget the first time we met and I was in costume and I was like, this must be really weird for you. I can't believe it's in this context. And so yeah, being able to talk to her in a podcast format and dive deeper into like all of these things that we have been talking about for months was so cool. I was really grateful that we had the opportunity to do that.
So looking at this now and being a part of this story and having this podcast and being able to give this a new sight, a new look.
Mhm.
Do you feel like these real life stories have given you just a different aspect, a different view on storytelling itself?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think the reason people are so fascinated by true crime is because it's a reflection of humanity. We watch these things and we go, "Oh, well, I wouldn't do that," or "What would I do in this situation?" And a lot of times they're not asking these questions when it's happening, right? Because of the context. And so that sense of nuance going into a project like this and then coming out the other end, absolutely. I look at these things not as cases or stories, but real people who have lived through these things, and I never want to forget that.
Yeah, there is a sense of responsibility. I feel like that you must feel going into a role like this.
Oh, absolutely. Big time, big time.
Yeah. And I said before watching this, you know, I was familiar with the story, but getting to see you actually do this, it felt like I was seeing it for the first time.
Oh, well.
So you really you did an incredible job. You all did and
Thank you so much for saying it. Truly being a part of this project with these people was a dream come true in every word of the sense. I felt so grateful to be a part of it and help tell this story in this way.
yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, it was a pleasure. It was so good catching up with you
I
today.
know, I know. It's so great catching up with you.
Well, I will see you soon.
See you soon.